Don't spill your fresh tears on the graves of old sorrows. Euripides. Back in ninth grade, our geometry teacher embarked on a journey of student-centered learning. He invited us all to dive into discussions, like sailors exploring uncharted waters. It was a refreshing approach. He would sketch a problem on the blackboard and utter his familiar phrase, "Let's unravel this mystery together." Though mathematics, particularly geometry, often felt like an unscalable mountain to me, I sometimes mustered the courage to step into those discussions. Yet, whenever I opened my geometry book, I felt as though I were standing at the base of that mountain, quickly closing the book as if it were a door leading to a daunting abyss. The only thing that brought me joy was witnessing the camaraderie between our math and physics teachers and a classmate of mine, Seyyed Karim. It was as if the universe had crafted him with the very essence of algebra, geometry, and physics. The geometry teacher often left the class a bit early, leaving the remaining questions to be solved by us, the students. He would call on Seyyed Karim to take the helm at the blackboard. When he addressed him as Mr. Seyyed Karim in a voice both tender and authoritative, a spark of pride ignited in Karim's eyes. In the absence of the teacher, Karim became the captain of our ship, a true navigator of knowledge. Until he completed the solutions on the board and gave his blessing, no one dared to leave the room. He handled the chalk with the precision of a maestro, dusting it off with a graceful flick and blowing the powder away like a magician readying his wand. His hand would trace elegant arcs in the air before anchoring the chalk to the board with a sense of purpose, as if he were guiding a spacecraft to a perfect landing on a distant star. Sometimes, the chalk would screech across the board, producing a sound that was more like a cry of joy than a complaint, as if the blackboard were a magical slate revealing the universe's deepest secrets. Karim would solve each problem as though he were transcribing the answers from an ancient, enchanted manuscript that only he could decipher. Even erasing the board was a ritual for him. With deft strokes, he would sweep the eraser from top to bottom, keeping the chalk dust from scattering like a skilled artist brushing away the past. I was mesmerized by Karim's handwriting, by his face, a masterpiece of symmetry and order, by his carefully chosen words, by the confidence he exuded in class, and even by the determined cadence of his steps. Compared to him, my mind felt like a blank canvas, barely catching the shadows of the equations and transferring them onto my notebook. During recess, I would often seek Karim's guidance on geometry problems. He would look at me with a mixture of patience and disbelief, asking in his own distinct tone, "You mean you still don't get such a simple question?" Then, with the finesse of a seasoned mathematician, he would take the pen from my hand and add intricate lines and curves to the geometric figures I had painstakingly drawn, rearranging them like pieces of a puzzle only he could solve. He would mutter under his breath, almost as if to himself, "I don't have much time. I'll explain just this one question. You'll have to figure out the rest on your own." I paid little heed to his words, my eyes were entranced by the dance of his pen, which seemed to breathe life into the shapes on the paper. It was as if, with every stroke, he was awakening dormant figures that had been lying in wait, hidden in the blank spaces of the page, until his pen brought them to life. When Karim finished his explanations, I was left in awe, staring at his face as if he had just performed a miracle.